Today we are building the best looking $900 budget gaming PC build, and we are putting it all into this case, which is the Montech Air 100 ARGB white version. I've used this case before, but the black version, I'm excited to use the white one. By the way, all of these parts were purchased brand new from Amazon for $812, and my stake with a 6% sales tax was about $861. So a good amount under that $900 budget. By the way, all of these parts are linked below if you want to pick them up. And this build starts with none other than the Ryzen 5 5600. The 5600 is still one of the best go-to budget CPUs with 6 cores, 12 threads, and a 4.4 GHz boost frequency. Alright, we are using the Gigabyte B550M DS3H Wi-Fi motherboard. This is a great looking motherboard for the price, but there's two things I wish they changed. Number one, first and foremost, why is there any gold lettering on here? There's nothing else in the PC that's going to be gold or yellow. I wish they just made that lettering black or white or gray, some other color to match the aesthetic of the build. Also, I know it's a budget board, but how much more expensive is it just to put an M.2 cover here? But we've got our own, so we're gonna put that in because we don't want a naked M.2 sticking out of the build. Now, to solve the problem of this lettering, we are going to be using some carbon fiber wrap. We're gonna lay that right over top of both of these spots where yellow is sticking out, just to make our build stick out that much more. We are going to be taking advantage of the Gen 4 support on this motherboard by using a Gen 4 NVMe drive. This is the Kingston NV2 1TB, which is 3,500 megabytes per second. It's kind of a mid-tier Gen 4, but it is also the cheapest, or tends to be the cheapest. I've used these before, haven't had any problems with them. Now, I would recommend to put on your own heatsink. These, I will also link below. It comes in a pack of 2. I think they're normally $10.99, but I picked up like 10 of them for $6.99 when they went on sale, so they're like $3.50, and it makes the build look way better without this sticking out in the motherboard. So we're gonna get these together, get them on, and then move on to the CPU. We are using none other than the Thermalright Assassin King SE white version. This is one of my go-to coolers in white. Normally this is about $20, but you can pick it up on sale sometimes for $17 or $18. I will post right here what I paid for it at the time of filming. This is a beautiful cooler. We're gonna go ahead and get her installed. As you may have seen before, the AM4, AM5 standoffs for the cooler are red. I don't want any red sticking out of the motherboard. It just throws everything off. So I'm gonna go ahead and color these in black. Sometimes it does take 2 coats to cover everything, but it is well worth it to keep that stealth aesthetic. We are using none other than the best looking kit of DDR4 in the world, the T-Force Delta R. This is a 16 gig kit clocked at 3600 megahertz. Make sure when using AM4, you use 3600. You do get on average, I'd say about a 5 to 7% increase in FPS. Look how much better this looks when you've got carbon fiber wrap on there. So we have made it to the case. Now before we go ahead and just plop the motherboard in here, there's a lot we gotta do before this case is ready to go. Number one, the first thing, if you notice, these wires for the fan, they're black and they're just going through the middle of the case here. Let me point this out. These are ugly, okay? I don't want these wires going through right here. You're gonna see that every time you look inside the PC. You're also gonna see this one right here. So we gotta take all the panels off, reroute the wires, do a mock fit, and then make sure that this PC case is gonna look beautiful when it's all together. Just as a reference here, look how much better this fan looks with some carbon fiber wrap versus this one. I did have to take the sticker off because the cutout that I have isn't big enough to cover the entire sticker. It's just plastic back there, but look how much better this is gonna look when all of that carbon fiber wrap is on there. So much better. By the way, it's important to make sure that you have all of your standoffs accounted for. I did have to add 2 more standoffs because there wasn't one here or here. Looks like we've got the motherboard where I want it. Make sure you check your I/O because sometimes these I/O, I don't even know what you want to call them, tabs, they'll get stuck in some of the ports and you won't notice that until you are done installing the motherboard and you got to take it all back out. Alright, so it looks good. We're going to go ahead and screw it down, but we are not going to use these silver screws that come with the case because that looks ugly. I don't want little silver dots all the way around. So I do have my own case of hardware. In fact, I have so many of these. If you want one of your own that are black, I'll link those down below. And we're going to go ahead and screw down the motherboard. At first I had the ARGB wire of the cooler routed over here and then up behind the top of the motherboard. I have moved it now. Can you see where it's at? You shouldn't. It's because I colored it black, but it's sitting right underneath the M.2 right there, behind the graphics card slot, all the way to the bottom of the motherboard there. I colored that wire black. It is much more hidden. The only part you're really gonna see is right there underneath the cooler up top because the graphics cards are gonna sit here. But I think that's a much better place to route it. So now all you really see is that one little bit of wire for the CPU fan. That's it. We picked up this beautiful MSI dual fan RTX 4060 with the white and silver design. I paid $299 for it, and I think at time of editing, it's come down a bit in price. Right now it is $289.99. So before you shred me in the comments about my gameplay, I was not having the best day, alright? I think I'm a pretty good gamer, I just was having a little bit of an off day. But enough of that, let's get to these benchmarks that I just showed on screen. Those are all 1080p results, but I did some 1440p testing. In Fortnite, we got 296 FPS, that is in performance mode. Modern Warfare 3, we got 131.5, that's in pro settings. Valorant, we got 446.6 1440p. I know that's a similar number to what I just showed on screen, but the map that you're playing on in Valorant changes the FPS heavily. Now, I had to play a few games to get a good average. I got 446 in 1440p, Valorant. 507 is what I averaged in 1080p. The finals is pretty similar. So for 1440p, I got 118.8. That is with FSR2 enabled. And then 1080p, we got 124.6, which is not that big of a difference. It's pretty close to the margin of error. It is a relatively new game, so I wonder if driver optimization has anything to do with that. But I also have to disclaim that that is also with XMP turned on, resizable bar, above 4G encoding, and PBO enabled in the BIOS set to motherboard settings. Now, I think that's totally okay and appropriate to do that. If those options are there, why not use it? You can simply turn them on, turn them off, but I like to boost up the PC and see how much FPS I can get. And folks, I am going to list this PC on Jawa.gg. I am exploring that avenue for selling my PCs, and I'm probably going to try to list them pretty cheap actually, just so I can build up a reputation. I have 23 reviews on Facebook, 4.8 stars, and I have nothing on Jawa. So I'm probably going to start selling for some cheaper prices just to build my presence on Jawa. Alright guys, that is the end of the video. If you made it this far, I appreciate you big time. Please drop a like on the video. Comment if you have something to say. Subscribe if you want to. And remember to always put God first in everything you do. And I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.